I'm your host, Destiny Sidwell.
I'm also your host, Sarah Crowley.
And this is Bookmark'd.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode. You're going to be seeing, we'll be seeing a lot of each other this week.
Yeah.
But for you guys, this is normal episodes, but we're pre-filming a bunch in June, which is going to be crazy when we come back, like the first week of July. We have a whole month to chat about.
Yeah, and then what happens when I have absolutely nothing to say?
No, you'll have stuff to say. You definitely will. A whole month with nothing?
Oh my god, my notes app is going to go crazy of things to tell Sarah. It's like the SpongeBob, like where SpongeBob's like, well, what do you do, like, when I'm gone? It's like, wait for you to get back. That's me and my notes app waiting for Sarah to be, like, back.
Yeah,
from
in the Notion, we have the shared one, and we have the dates of when we're filming, but the dates that I'm gone, Destiny wrote Sarah gone with the sad emoji, and there's so many this month that actually is so sad to look at. And it looks just like, you know,
me
so
filling
sad.
in every single one of them. And then if you go to the Google Calendar, it's funny to see as well. Just Sarah gone.
Yeah. But it's funny because it's like we don't see each other anyway, but it's just like I'm gone for those few days.
I think it more feels like, I don't know, I feel like if you're gone, I'm like, oh, well, Sarah's gone. Like, I can't talk to Sarah.
Oh my god, yeah, you can.
I know, but in my brain, that's what it feels like. It feels like, oh my god, Sarah's gone. Can't talk to Sarah.
I know. That's like when you're on all your trips. It's like I have to give her some vacation time. Give her some.
Yeah, but then I end up texting Sarah some random thing, and I'm like, literally, what is going on with this? And Sarah's like, I don't know. I'm like, that's the random things that come to my brain sometimes.
That's okay.
You know the TikTok sound that's like, somebody gonna match my freak. Also, I don't really love that sound, but that's how I feel about a lot of my niche topics.
I didn't know what they were saying in that song. I just realized today because someone made like a TikTok and it like related to the song and the lyrics. It was like, is anyone gonna match my freak? I had no idea that's what they were saying. I was like, oh, all these trends actually make sense now. I had no idea.
Sarah's just coasting through, like, I don't know what these people are saying, but
no idea. It's funny now that I can reflect on all the edits I've seen to that song.
Oh my god, I have to tell you that
what?
I don't think that you guys know this, but a weird thing that keeps on coming up because of me within me and Sarah's friendship is that I am constantly bringing up the Game of Thrones universe and constantly asking Sarah if she's ever watched Game of Thrones, but then immediately as soon as I ask her, I recall that she tells me that she only watched the last season because everybody else was watching it and she wanted to watch it. But here's the thing now. This happened to me whenever the last time that House of Dragon got released for like season 1, and I was getting like nonstop, like I think it comes out weekly. I was getting nonstop every single week, people making the new edit of the week for the new episode. You know, like Game of Thrones fans, like they go hard for that show, like for years. And I remember thinking to myself, I was like, this may get me to watch, like, the Game of Thrones universe because, like, the House of Dragon looks so good, like, as a TV show and, like, plot-wise, because Game of Thrones, plot-wise, doesn't appeal to me that much. Maybe it's just because there's so much going on that I don't really know. But now, you know, like, the season 2 trailer, like, dropped. I keep getting... I kid you not, it's probably every 5 videos I'm getting a new house. You would think that I'm like a stan of the show, how like much is on my For You page, but it's just because I interact with it so much because it intrigues me, because like season 2 is like all about like revenge, and I'm like, wait, am I about to literally binge season 1 and become like, because it's a prequel, so what if I watch House of Dragon and then I get into Game of Thrones and then I become insufferable?
That's exactly how, well, I mean, we didn't like watch all of it obviously, but that's what happened to us. Like everyone was talking about the new season. We just had so much FOMO, but the new season was dropping like really soon when we saw everyone talking about it, and it was getting so hyped up and everyone was freaking out, like live tweeting, like they were ready to live tweet the show when it like started, when the last season premiered. And it was like, we didn't have enough time to watch all of them. So we were like, what if we just like Spark Notes all, whatever, I think it was like 5 seasons. And we went in completely blind. And, it was so fun watching everyone react to it and us just having no idea what was going on. But, like, it was so fun being part of the fandom because, again, there's, like, so many people that love it. I say do it. There's so many people love both series. So I think it's definitely worth it.
I'm definitely really into House of Dragon. I think it's also because, like, I'm kind of obsessed with the cast. Like, again, didn't watch the show, but went down a rabbit hole of literally, like, every single cast member. And it's just so intriguing to me, but there are a lot of things that does hold me off from watching those shows. Like, there's, like, a lot of subject matter that holds me off from it. Because, I don't know, I like to watch light TV most of the time. You know, like, nothing that's going to be, like, super dark, like the themes get. And, like, I don't know, they get graphic in that show, from what I've heard.
I couldn't tell you one thing about what either House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones is about. No idea.
The fact that I could tell you what House of Dragon is about and I have never watched it. But this is also where I feel like TikTok is both really helping media, but also really hurting it because, like, there are so many TV shows, because we talked about this with Queen Charlotte, how I was like, but I just have seen so many clips on TikTok that I feel like I've watched the show. Like, I could tell you just as much as somebody who watched the show.
That's like when you get trailers for movies now or shows now, they basically put the whole thing into the trailer for it, and everyone's like, I feel like I just watched the whole movie. There's no point. Like, you put in all the important scenes in here, and I feel like back in the day, trailers were like 30 seconds long, and it's like, you're now intrigued to go see what they're going to put in the movie, but now you see everything online before it even comes out.
Oh, that's like my gripe with right now, because people know where they're filming the new season of Stranger Things, and, like, again, since I interact with so much Stranger Things content, like, it just comes up on my For You page. So people are, like, taking photos as they're filming, and, like, you can just tell, like, the plot from, like, what characters are wearing and, like, what they're doing in the shots. And it makes me so mad because since I interact with Stranger Things stuff, period, like, of course it's going to pop up on my feed, and I don't want it to, but I want to see more Stranger Things content.
Yeah.
So that's just how the algorithm works. But, like, even stuff like that nowadays, like, when people can, like, even when It Ends With Us was filming and people were, like, obviously
the outfits and everything,
like, whatever, and they were taking pictures. It's like you see so much of a movie and TV show, I feel, before it even comes out nowadays.
But I do think it's different when you see, like, pictures of it and then you try to, like, picture how it's going to be. Like, even the events with this one compared to the trailer, pictures and the trailer feel like two separate entities completely. So it is annoying though seeing, because, like, you can kind of put pieces together of, like, what scenes they're filming or, like, what's going on behind the scenes, but you'll see everything on TikTok or online somewhere before things come out. You have to, like, really shield your eyes, especially if you want to, like, read something, but it's been out for just, like, even a little bit. Like, a new release comes out a few months ago, TikTok already's got every scene down.
Oh, yeah. I do think that, like, if you're going to make a TikTok about, like, books specifically, because I think people did this with Iron Flame really bad. That's, like, the last time, and probably Crescent City, but I didn't see a whole lot about Crescent City 3, honestly. Maybe I just because, like, I didn't love it, I wasn't interacting with a lot of
I think I just saw a lot of theories. I didn't see a lot of, like, the actual.
Yeah. And so, like, I remember with Iron Flame, though, people were, like, literally, like, less than 24 hours, which I still do not get it, because I remember it took me so long to get through that book, because we talked about it, how it literally is, like, the length of the Crescent City books. It just doesn't look that long, because, like, she made the text very small. But people were, like, posting the ending of Iron Flame, and I was like, y'all, like, because, again, like I'm saying, the algorithm, like, if you interact with that type of content, like, especially when people complain about certain things, it's like, but you're interacting with it on the algorithm. Like, I'm a very big believer in pressing not interested on something if I don't want to see it, because the algorithm, it's all about what you interact with. So it's like, no matter what, say I'm really, like, excited for Iron Flame release, so I've been liking theories. Of course, TikTok's going to bring up other Iron Flame stuff, so then you're going to see spoilers. And if you're going to post spoilers, I feel like you should either really, like, be like, okay, spoiler before you get into the video, or just, like, wait a while before posting something.
Yeah, that's like when I was reading Throne of Glass. I mean, it's been out for a while, but I was very conscious when I got on the app. I was like, now that I'm reading it, I know I'm going to get TikToks about it, even if I haven't gotten up to that part. So every time I even, like, saw a glimpse of it being about Throne of Glass of the series, I would have to scroll by. I would like it, though, 'cause then it would come on my For You page because I was interacting, but I would like it for later to come back to it when I was finished. But even if I saw the name Throne of Glass, I would scroll past it, even if I've read that part, just in case, because it is dangerous out there with spoilers. Something will be spoiled
absolutely.
if you're not aware.
And a lot of the times with Throne of Glass specifically, I remember telling you too, like, yeah, you should just skip it because people, like, don't do spoilers. Like, they do that. Like, they won't say, like, oh, spoiler for, like, later on into the series.
Oh, yeah, no.
And I understand because on one hand you can say, but the series has been out forever. But then again, like, it's not Harry Potter or Twilight. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, this has literally been, like, a piece of media for years. Like, there are a lot of people who are just now getting into Throne of Glass.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you have to, like... It's, like, on you as the reader, not the even though it should be whoever's posting it to put a spoiler warning. But you as the reader need to be aware of what you're scrolling past, or there's going to be a spoiler. Yeah. And it happens with, like, all popular, even popular just, like, romance books. I'll be scrolling, and it'll be just, like, a quote from a book, and I'm like, this is a very important scene, probably. And I haven't read the book yet. And then it's, like, eventually I could read the book, and that scene just doesn't hit the same, because I knew it was coming, and I knew exactly what they were going to say.
Well, that's, like, I'm saying back in the day, because this was probably like a year or two ago, but it has stuck with me since then, of somebody, because I do see a lot of recommendations on TikTok specifically of people that will, like, take scenes from a book to, like, recommend it, and learn my lesson with that. Let me tell you guys, there's been a lot of books that I've read because I saw TikTok sharing the scene, and then I was like, oh, so this was the only good part of the book. But somebody quite literally used the ending of Love and Other Words to recommend Love and Other Words.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's so crazy. That's like,
and I was like,
I used to read specifically fantasy books. People would post and they like quotes that like have like the romance part of the fantasy, and this was before I like read fantasy books, and I would read those books and I would be like, that one quote and like that one scene would be like 10% of the book, and that was before I realized like fantasy is usually like a subplot of romance, but those quotes would eat, so I would read obviously the whole 600-page book for one little quote, but it still would eat. But now I like don't read into like the quotes and stuff. I honestly, sometimes if I see a quote for a book like being not promoted but like posted, like a cute quote or something, I usually scroll past because I'm like, I don't want to know what quote this is.
I don't pay any attention to the book because maybe there's like one quote from a book that like sticks out, but I feel like then you have like books like Beach Read or Happy Place that like I feel like there's like a lot of stuff that you could like take pictures of and post like from that book. But
I think it's specific to whatever book. Like there's quotes that are just like so popular to the book, like you said, Beach Read and stuff. Other ones, I just get nervous it's going to spoil. Even Little Scene, I'm just weird with being like blind before books and not wanting to know anything.
Sarah did notify me on multiple occasions, especially if we're watching a wrap up together. She'll start skipping if somebody is like reviewing, even if it's like, and a lot of people don't do this, but the thing is that I feel like a lot of people do, whereas I try my best because like it doesn't really matter, but I try my best to like stick to very like non-spoiler in reviews. Yeah. But like I do feel like a lot of people, like when they're reviewing something, like they give away parts of the plot that I'm like, okay, that was like a big thing to find out, and you just like told everybody. So I get why Sarah's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna skip it completely.
Doesn't matter if it's a reading vlog, a wrap up. It doesn't matter whose video. I remember I think we were watching Rachel's reading vlog with her book besties, and they were on their little trip, and they were all reading Powerful together, and that was before we read it.
We skipped it.
Like that part. There's a part where it was on, I closed my ears and I started like singing to myself. I like, for some reason, I just don't want to know anything before going into a book, especially one like I'm excited for. But I think that's why I like TBR videos so much, because like me and whoever's filming it, we don't know what the book is about. It's like we can't spoil anything. So I don't know why I have to skip. It's like something, even if it's the slightest thing, I don't know why I don't like it.
No, but I do get it as well, because like I said, I like, especially if I've read the book and I watch somebody review it and I'm thinking to myself as they're talking sometimes, and again, this isn't a big deal, but it's like, oh, that's like, you just gave away like a big part of the plot that like somebody would.
Yeah, usually if it's in like a reading vlog, I don't usually skip as much. I like to see reactions to it to see if they're like enjoying it or not. But usually when it's getting described and stuff, I don't know why. It's like I think because I also don't really read the backs of books either. I don't really know. Too much information.
I'm somebody who, and I feel like sometimes I forget that, and in my wrap up specifically, I try to remember it, but I forget most of the time, because I am somebody like that too. Like I like going in knowing very little. Like I don't I feel like the back of books give away a lot sometimes. Like they will even give away like stuff that happens like 100 pages in. And so I like to go in blind as well. And then I go to like talk about the book in my wrap up and I'm like, oh, but some people like to know like what the book is about. And so it's hard for me to remember that, and then try to do it in the most roundabout way where I even try to say like less than the back of the book would.
Yeah. Well, that was like Wild Love. Not a spoiler because it's on the back of the book, but when I read it, I had no idea it was a single father trope. No idea. And then people started talking about it. I was like, that's a spoiler, but it's not. It literally says it on the back, and Elsie talks about all these books being single father. I had no idea. I was shook. I was taken so off guard.
No, me neither, because I literally went to the book and then I thought, because I was rereading it because like once I got to the end of the chapter where like she gets introduced pretty much like within like chapter 1.
Yeah.
And then when she like shows up or like whatever, and I'm like, wait, okay, is this Rosie?
No, it's a 12-year-old girl.
But I like didn't register because he just like kind of talked about like what she was wearing, and I was like, oh, what? Like I was like, this is not what I thought. And then I was like, oh my god, this is a child. This is his child. And then it was just it was funny.
That's why sometimes it's fun not reading the back. You're like completely surprised by even just like the plot. Speaking of
while
books,
we're on the top of the books, it is we're halfway through the year, which is crazy and
insane
in of itself. Wow.
In and of itself.
I can't say it. Holy crap! Like I just can't say that.
I realized my birthday, like June 14th, is like basically halfway through the entire year. Like I have a very middle of the year birthday. Like I am. When you have half birthdays, no, I have half year. I am halfway through the year. Is my birthday,
which of course, so special, just like Sarah. But we thought we would string together kind of like when you watch like mid-year book tags, and we would just kind of like chat, catch up. Obviously at the beginning of the year, I think we even made a podcast episode talking about reading goals for 2024, so it's kind of like checking in on our reading goals and kind of reflecting on the year of reading that we've had so far and the next half of the year we wanted to bring, what we're hoping for, etc. What did you say?
I said quarter 2, but quarters are 4.
Oh no, this is like quarter this is a quarter 3. Is it quarter? No, it's quarter 2.
No, I think we're in 2. Yeah, I think quarter 2 is over around my birthday anyway. All right, so if you didn't watch our like New Year video, we talked about our goals, reading and like personal work goals. So this is going to be very interesting to see if we've kept up with any, because I'm like the first few months, I'm like really into it. Like I'm doing my goals. Like this is going to be like the year to stick to them. I couldn't even find the note. Like I have no idea if I've stuck to them or not.
See, mine sits at the top. Like, and we all know, if you guys keep up with like vlogs and stuff, that I am like, Notion is something that I'm on every single day. I am updating Notion multiple times a day, every single day. Like I am on top of it, so it's at the very top of my like all things books list. So mine is a constant reminder of my failures.
I should do. No, they'll just keep you accountable for sticking to them. I gotta print these out and put them on my wall. Okay. Should we do reading ones first? A couple of those?
Yeah.
Okay. I already failed like the first 3, but the first one was I wanted to try to only read for my physical TBR, which I think I've done a good job. I remember the first few months I didn't really bookshop, but I don't know. I'd have to look through what I've read this year. I feel like I've done a good job of it, but I've also
I was about to say, I think that you've done very well. I don't think you've even like bought a ton of books or anything.
I've been trying to do like reading vlogs that I could pick books from, books I already have, kind of. So I think I've stuck to that a little bit.
Yeah, I think you have. Like I noticed that. Like I feel like you are very diligent about trying to like read books that you've had.
Trying.
We're all just trying out here, honestly, at the end of the day. I think we all sing. Sorry, that's like what energy I just thought that I gave. So
what is that?
Oh my god, you've never seen that video of Victoria Justice, like when they were doing Victorious?
I don't know. Maybe.
They get, like, asked, like, she's, like, with Liz Gilly and, like, Ariana Grande, and they're like, who sings the most on set? And I think they're, like, saying, like, Ariana did or something, and then Victoria Justice is like, I think we all sing. I was
don't
like,
know if I've ever seen that.
oh, it's, like, a meme, but that's the energy that I thought that I was giving, so.
Oh. Okay. What do you have?
I had read 10 classics.
Listen, you're one step closer.
Yeah,
You're
I think
about
I've
to.
read none. Yeah, I don't think I've read any.
No, but this is okay because you're about to. We have proof.
Yes, so I'm about to this month, and that's very funny. And it's not purposely timed that way, that I, like, tried to line it up. We're, like, halfway through the year to do that. But it's just something where, like, I was intimidated, and then I got a comment, and it made me not intimidated anymore, because somebody was like, you need to remember that, like, classics were written for, like, the public back then. Like, they were written for people's enjoyment. They weren't written to be, like, these, like, you know, overarchingly prestigious and difficult. Like, it was for everybody to read. But I think the thing is that it, like, when going into classics, it's very important to know, like, the time period it was written in, though, and, like, why they were writing the books, because most of the time it does have commentary, you know, like, intertwined within the story. So I think that's what makes them a little bit more intimidating for me, is just, like, looking into, like, what you're reading and stuff, which is not hard, but you know, you just gotta think a little bit more. I don't do that very often. So, but this month I really am trying to tackle reading some more classics. So we'll see.
I can't wait to see which one ends up being your favorite.
I'm very interested
what type
because
of classic girly you are.
I know, because I've read classics before, but I just think there is a very big difference, and I just do want to show myself that, like, you can read classics and enjoy them, and they don't have to be attached to school, because I feel like that's what school does to you. Like, school, like, even with reading for most people, like, even now, like, whenever me and Isaac will talk about reading, he always, like, brings it up, like, reading for school, and I do feel like sometimes, like, school makes people have this, like, negative connotation around reading, because, like, all they think about is, like, having to do it for assignments and stuff, and I'm like, I'm a firm believer in there's a book out there for everybody.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree, because people, I feel like, at least in school, I wasn't reading a lot when they were assigning readings. And it just, when you're forcing someone to read something and then write about it and then talk about it, it, like, takes a little bit of the enjoyment out of it. I mean, it's school, so, like, you have to do it, but I understand when people haven't read after school telling you what to read, you still think that, like, that's the experience you'll have with reading.
Yes.
I had no buying books unless it's a new release or for a video or on my Kindle, like Kindle Unlimited, so, like, not purchasing. No way. I went book shopping like 2 days ago and bought some books. I mean, the thing is, like, they'll be in videos eventually. Like, eventually I will probably put them into some sort of video, but I definitely haven't been strict on that one. But I've been, honestly, I think I've been good about buying books this year. Like, last year I was a little crazy with just, like, book shopping a little too much when I didn't need to be. But this year, it's, like, been overwhelming me if I go to buy a book and I know I'm not going to read it until, like, end of the year. Like, I don't want to buy a book I'm not going to read in the next, like, few months at least. But I don't know. I definitely have been buying books that aren't part of that goal.
I mean, I feel you, because one of mine were to only buy 5 books at the most a month, which I do think I started the year off well. And also, so even when I made this, it looked like sometimes I was buying more, because, like, you know, especially, like, if we have a video that we're filming and we'll go out to Barnes and, like, buy the books for a video, I didn't really count that, because those books are, like, automatically not being on the physical TBR, because, like, they don't even get a chance to sit on the physical TBR. Like, you're reading them. Yeah. This is more like when you go to Barnes and you're browsing and you pick up books for, like, no reason, and you're like, oh yeah, one day I'll get to them. But last month I didn't really do that. In May, I picked up a few in my latest vlog but again, like, I've literally already started reading those. So I feel like, though I have been buying books, but I feel like I've also been trying to be very diligent about, like, reading them. But I did randomly the other day. I was just kind of like, I don't know. I had to go to Barnes to try to find books for the video, but then I was like looking around. I was like, I don't even think I could walk out of the store with like where I'm at right now with reading. Like, I don't even think I could walk out of the store with like more than 10 books. Like, of an actual just like, oh, I'm browsing around. Yeah. But that's also why I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone so I can buy more books. So I can go to Barnes and I, have a wide no. But it is interesting though, because I feel like I recently, which don't need to get all into it, but I've just recently feel like I'm just in a really small comfort zone with reading, and I would like to open it up more. So hopefully that doesn't impact my book buying, but I do feel you on that. You start off the year so much like you're like, these new goals, I'm not going to buy any books, and then so it's hopeful. Like,
I know it goes downhill, but I'm just gonna make a new goal for the second half of the year. Maybe we make new goals. Yeah.
Maybe that's the end of the episode. We make new goals for the rest of the year.
Yeah, we can try that and see if we stick to those. Then I wrote find new authors. Doesn't matter like what genre, which I think I've read a good amount of new authors this year. I found some that I enjoy. I
definitely feel like you've done that.
Yeah. Found me blanking on every new author I've read? No. But
you found Alice.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Hey, found Heartstopper. Hey, found the best thing ever.
You also found
Annabelle Monaghan, whose new release just came out. Loved her books. Kristen Hanna, great author. Yes. So I think I've done a good job, and also other books that I've just read from new authors that I haven't read before, which I think is fun.
Yeah,
because I feel
absolutely.
like last year I got stuck. Like when I found an author I liked, it's not bad to like read all of their books, but I didn't really branch out too hard. So it's been fun this year. I think I think I did this one.
I do think that you have been very good at that one as well. I do think I feel like you have been very diligent though about your like reading goals.
I subconsciously, like there's somewhere in the back of my brain that I've been trying to stick to that maybe.
I just heard a whole entire thing. I was with my boyfriend and his friends this whole entire past weekend, and they kept on going on and on about the subconscious mind, because of course I just feel like that's something that like makes sense, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But they were like doing this experiment where they like would they knew that they had to wake up early, and so they would like tell their subconscious mind, because they saw a video, they would tell their subconscious mind that they needed to wake up at 7, so they would wake up before their alarm, and they did. Like I witnessed them all like wake up before their alarm, but then they went on this whole entire thing of like, so it just reminds me of what you said though, because like I feel like though it is kind of true, because in your subconscious mind you know that these goals are in the back of your head, so subconsciously though you are reaching for those books, you know what I mean?
Trying to stick to them. Yeah. I haven't like actively gone back to this notes app, but definitely somewhere in my brain is like telling me what I should be doing this year.
Sending you the signals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any other ones?
Oh yeah. I have read 10 memoirs, and I think I've read, oh my god,
I feel like you've done a couple this year though.
I have. I think I've read some nonfiction. Which I feel like I kind of group it in with memoirs. I do want to get a lot more into like people's stories and stuff, but I've read a little bit of nonfiction this year, because I do find nonfiction interesting. Like I find like that, like when we get onto a subject sometimes, like even if it's super niche, like I would read a book about the Titanic. You know what I mean?
That's funny. Yeah. I feel like you can group, instead of like 10 memoirs, 10 like nonfiction, like even though if it's not about the author's life, they're still writing about something that they listen, nonfiction is nonfiction to me, at least, even though there's different categories of it.
I think that's probably what I'll end up changing it to, just because like I was already grouping that in my subconscious mind. Like anyway, so I think I don't know the exact number, because I stopped like what I'm looking at, I stopped like updating the numbers for it, but I think somewhere in there I've read some nonfiction, because sometimes I don't put nonfiction on my Goodreads a lot of the times, because I never rate nonfiction, so I just don't put it on there.
Yeah. But you've definitely, that one you have definitely kept up with. I
have some on my radar. I want to get into, like, I feel like C.S. Lewis. Like, I feel like he's an author that, like, so many people love his nonfiction work. So I would get into that.
Yeah. I only have, like, a few other ones, but I wanted to listen to more books, which I definitely have been doing. I've been loving audiobooks. I didn't even know I wrote this down, but last year I feel like I didn't really listen to a lot of books, but been loving audiobooks this year. And I didn't want to force myself to read a book if I'm not enjoying it, or I know it, like, can't be higher than, like, a 3, which I think I've only given...
I feel like you've done that.
Yeah, like, one book maybe a 2-star, but I've definitely DNF'd more this year probably than, like, all of last year. I just always felt so guilty DNFing a book, but now I feel like it's fine. Even if it's a soft DNF and I'll come back to it, I still hated doing that last year. But I just feel bad for the book because if I'm not enjoying reading it, it's just not fair at the time to read it and put it off. Or even if I give it, like, a 2-star, it's just there's no point.
Absolutely. I agree. I think that you've done great on those, especially the audiobook ones. I'm always watching your bookish stuff. You're always listening to an audiobook.
Oh, yeah. It's because it's like, I don't know why last year it was like, when I was doing things, I, like, forgot you can listen to a book. So I was always like, oh, can't read right now. But, like, no, you can listen.
Yeah.
Get your reading
I feel like I've gotten more into audiobooks this year, too.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to really get into it and use it as a tool this month when trying to, like, dive into more classics, because that's, like, the number one thing I feel like everyone's told me is that if you're trying to read a classic, maybe listen to it via audiobook, because it's, like, easier for them to, like, tell you the story.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably easier to digest of what they're trying to, like, say through. Like, reading it is probably harder to understand what they're trying to say, but, like, when they speak it to you, it's probably easier to understand the sentences and stuff. But, like, I act like classics are, like, indecipherable. Like, I can read a classic. I don't know why in my head classics are so hard for me to understand, but it's maybe because I just haven't read any.
Well, no, I think, at least for me, I don't know if this is the same for you, it's just, like, the like how I said earlier, like, I know that they were written, but they were written with, like, a certain messaging in mind for the time period within itself. Like, there was a backdrop of something going on that the author wrote about majority of the time with the classic that kind of has messaging within it. Like, if you read 1984 by George Orwell, or Animal Farm, or even The Great Gatsby, like, there is a message within it, and I fear that I am too dumb to understand the message behind it. So then I'm going to go up here and review it, and then people are going to be like, you missed the whole entire...
Yeah. I just read, I had no idea, but when I read Perks of Being a Wallflower, that's now a modern day classic, and I had no idea until I started reading it. I was like, it's written as if it would be a classic, but, like, I didn't know there was, like, a deeper message because I only watched the movie back, like, years ago. And then afterwards, and reading the reviews and stuff, it's like, oh, there's messages behind everything they're saying.
So humbling when you go and you, like, have a book like that you read, and then you, like, go to Goodreads, and then you start reading the reviews and you realize, and it's almost like an internal panic where you're like, wait, I did not get that. Like, I
missed the whole thing. Yeah, maybe that's why classics are hard, because it's, like, hard for me to understand, like, the theme of what they're going for. I'm more of a literal person with what I'm reading. It's just the type of books that we read.
I'm trying to see. Oh, I said by the end of the year, I wanted to complete 30% of my physical TBR. So, like, go through what my physical TBR was at the beginning of the year and have read at least 30% of what was on it. I don't know where I'm at with that right now. I am kind of scared that... No. I feel like I'm kind of scared to calculate because, like, what if I have not really touched that yet? And so I'm very scared for that. But I feel like... I think I calculated it in the video in which I kind of made that a thing of how many books that would be, and I feel like, maybe that was over 100. I definitely have not read. I've not read like 50 books on my physical TBR. Wow. Okay. Maybe we'll have to make this. This will be one of my goals at the end of the episode to put a pin in to come back to. And then also the last reading goal that I had was have 10 5-star reads.
Oh. Wow, 10. I'm, like, curious, how many did you have last year? I don't know how many I had last year.
I don't think because last year, I feel like I had a big, like, rereads year. So, it was, like, I like those are 5 stars, but I mean like brand new books that I've like never read before to add to the 5-star list. I feel like I never leave a year having like 10. Like I feel like I never
that's
like
a lot.
And so I was like, ooh, I want to be very intentional with my reading this year. And I feel like I am intentional with my reading. Like, I feel like, yeah, I'll read for videos, but I also, like, I mean, I've made however many videos or, like, have videos with my most anticipated releases in them. And I'm like, I can't wait for this to be a 5-star. And then I'm like,
yeah.
Like,
yeah, finding a 5-star, usually it's a surprise that if it's a 5-star rather than, like, really hoping for it because then you're disappointed. I wonder how many 5 stars I've had this year. How many have you had? You know how many you've had, right? Was it
2?
2? I don't even know what I've given 5 stars this year. Funny story. I reread Powerless, Into the Dark. 3? I don't know. There could be another one, but I don't think there is.
Hey, if it's not coming to mind, then it's not.
That's true. That's very true. I think that's all I had. Let me look.
Well, what was your actual, like, reading goal number-wise for the year?
I think I put 100 because I said I wanted to, like, I felt like with more DNFs and being more conscious, I guess, about what I'm reading was 100. But kind of killing it.
You are. You are.
I've read 64. Says I'm 22 books ahead of schedule.
And you love to see it. I think at around this time last year, I was like way behind schedule. And then I just like let that, you know,
it's the
run with it.
Same time as last year of what's going on. It's like a repeat. So literally I'm having deja vu. What was your goal?
My goal was 125. I think I'm sitting at like 65, 66 for the year.
Oh. So you're like on track, I feel like. That's like halfway.
Yeah, I'm halfway. Yeah.
Oh. You're good. You're not behind.
Oh, no, but I'm saying like book slump wise, like I am where I'm at last year, where I'm like, but I think as a little update, you guys, I was in a book slump, but now I don't know if I'm in a book slump or if it's just like life is busy. Mm-hmm. So it's like because the other day I like really set out and because I was making the video and I was like, oh, I'm going to set out and like sit down and just like not focus on anything else except reading this book and like see what happens. And I literally finished the book in one sitting. So
yeah, it could be that you don't have time to sit and like really get some reading done. That's what I mean.
I'm like, okay, so is it a book slump? Because I was feeling that way though, like in May, where like even when I would try to sit down and read, I was like, no, I can't do it. So I was in like a book, but I feel like I'm out of it now.
Yeah, but we did say that there was a chance that was going to happen. We kind of predicted that because of all the new releases the month prior.
Yeah.
So we kind of we saw this coming.
Put that out there that I was just going to be like checked out. So that was great.
I think it was a good.
I feel like we're doing good in our
first half. Yeah, the first half of the year reading was really. I feel like it's always when the year starts, you're just like really excited, even though it's like you're just continuing to read through December to January, but like. When it's the start of the year, things are just so fresh. You're just excited.
My favorite video to film, like my favorite videos I did last year and did this year is like to go through and like see everybody's like favorite books from the previous year and then like read all of everybody's like favorite books or like the award winners from last year that you haven't read yet. Like that's like my favorite thing. Yeah,
like the full year wrap up, which I think could be fun answering those kind of like mid-year tag questions and see.
My number one that I had, because I feel like it's always good, start off on a positive note, is what is your favorite book of the year so far that you've read?
Okay. I'm like scrolling through the books I've read. I should have answered these questions before I sat down. I'm going to say, where is it? Okay. I'm not counting my Powerless reread, even though I would love to. I'll say Into the Dark.
I knew you were going to say that.
Into the Dark, probably. I'll stick with one answer. I don't have to give multiple. I think that's my favorite of the year so far.
I feel like I'm going to say Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. It was just, I love Abby Jimenez, and I feel like that just really like solidified for me how much of an like fan I am of her work. So
okay, I also did love that book. I think about that book sometimes like randomly. That's like a really good book. Okay, What is the best sequel you've read so far in 2023?
Best sequel? Have I read a sequel this year?
Or we can do series, like if you've read some of a series.
I don't even know if I've read. Oh, I guess I. Oh, okay. Well, I'm like, I was like, oh, I read the Taming Seven though. We have. Wow. Man.
I'm like looking through mine too. I feel like I've started series. I don't know if I've continued series.
Yeah. Wow, that's a tough one because I feel like I haven't. Wow, I don't feel like I've read a lot of fantasy this year. That's crazy. I guess I would just have to say for that type of like question, I would have to say Into the Dark because that's like the only series that I like continued that was like at the very top of my list.
I couldn't even tell you my answer to this question. I don't know. The second book I've read in a series was Swift and Saddled, but it was not like my favorite I've read this year. Or I really liked The Fake Out, the one that was after Behind the Net. I loved that book. I don't know. This was a hard one.
I said most disappointing read of the year so far.
Uh-oh. Okay, I feel like I know yours.
I don't even know mine.
What did I recently give really low? I think I'm gonna have to say Crescent City 3. Personally. Not that I loved the series to begin with, but I just think I expected, different.
See, I feel like I've had a lot of disappointing, and it's not to say that the books are bad, it's just that like coming from favorite authors, favorite series, like all of that stuff, and like just them not being the 5 stars that you expect them to be. I am really in between Funny Story and Crescent City 3 just because like I was really, really, really excited for Crescent City 3 like over my birthday almost. Like the only reason I was excited for my birthday was because like I was going to be able to go get the book. Like that was the only reason I was even excited on that day. And so like that one was hard because I feel like there was just so much build up and hype around it that it just felt so flat. Like it was just like not that. And I feel like I might have to go with that one just because of what the expectations were going into it. Whereas with Funny Story, it's like, yeah, that's like my favorite author, so I'm very excited for a new book, but like it just didn't mesh with me. And that's different than literally being like, oh, we hyped this thing up and like it fell hard.
Plus you loved the first two, or you enjoyed the beginning of the series.
Oh, I loved the first 2 books.
Yeah. So that, I agree. Okay. Book that made you cry.
I was just talking about this in my vlog the other day. I cannot remember the last time I've like read an emotional book that made me cry. I mean, I cried when reading Crescent City, but it was like, I mean, I guess you can count that, but I think when I just did my reread of Beach Read, I was filming for Patreon, and at the very end when there's a part with like letters at the end, and I'm literally just like filming myself in my bed sobbing my eyes out.
Me last year when I reread it, I was like hyperventilating over that
I literally
part.
I was like trying to read it out loud, and I'm going like I'm like, oh my god, like I was just full on crying. And so I guess
that's harder like the more you read that one part. I
said also I feel like as you get older and like life circumstances, and I feel like really with that part specifically, if you know, like getting older and thinking about your parents, and then like when you start thinking about like, because I think I said this in the vlog, I said like when you're going through big things in life, like your parents are also going through them too, and like they made you, so you have to think like
when they're realize they're real people.
Yes, like no, like when you have those realizations that your parents are like doing life for the first time.
When I think
and
that
you
my
were
mom
like
was just a girl,
to
like
them,
don't. That's like when I'm reading Firefly Lane, it's just like blowing my mind. It's like, oh, so our parents were children.
Oh my god,
we're teenagers.
That book is one of my favorite books of all
I just started it. It's like it's making me spiral a little bit, but
that book found me when I needed it. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I remember specifically. You know how big that book is? I sat outside on my back deck right after I graduated my senior year of high school and read it in one sitting.
That's a great time to read this book. I feel like in those big things happening in different like eras of your life, you should read this book, specifically like
oh my god,
girlhood reasons.
Oh yeah, I was going through it back then too. It literally found me in the perfect time.
Yeah. What was the question? What are we doing?
Last book that made you cry.
Oh, listen, for some reason in like real life I feel like I'm not emotional, like I'm not crying over anything, but for some reason I cry many times reading books. I think the last one that like really did it for me was The Nightingale. Oh God. I could cry right now thinking about it. Like if you saw like the raw footage of me finishing this book, I think I recorded the whole thing, but I had to clip it out because I'm just like such an embarrassing crier. Oh my god, the way my face was like crumpling, I'm like tearing up right now. It's oh my god, it's so...
See, I want that though. Like, I want a book that you are literally like on the floor, just like face down. Like, I can't even like face life
read The
right
Nightingale.
Now.
No, read The Nightingale. It's like one of those books where it takes place during World War II, so like you know the events of what's happening, but the way that she like... Listen, it was so... Ugh. That one and The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, that one was a surprise sob. Did not expect that one.
Oh yeah, the ending is so heartbreakingly beautiful.
Oh my god. I need to reread
like,
that book.
It's poetic almost, because you're like, damn. Like, you know what I mean? Like, true love at its finest.
Yeah, that one got me really good, but that wasn't the latest one. Yeah, The Nightingale really did it for me. I'm opening my dough. I forgot about it.
Oh, did you have an Olipop?
Yeah, I had an Olipop.
I've been sipping on my Alani if you've been watching, so.
I forgot.
What flavor is that?
Cherry cola. Very delicious.
Yeah. Next question is going to be, did you find a new author that you love this year? I'm like looking at my books. I'm like, wait, did I write this question and I didn't even find a new author?
Yeah, I didn't answer the questions that I wrote down either. I don't want to say the Heartstopper author, Alice Oseman, just because I've only read Heartstopper. So like it could translate different because I know she's read like, or she's written actual novels, not just graphic, but I could see myself really enjoying them because I like the graphic ones, but I don't know, but I'm trying to think of any. I might say Kristen Hanna. That could be jumping the gun because I'm only 1.5 books in with hers, but I really love the way she writes. It feels very realistic. It feels like she's taking real people and writing their story. I might say her.
I've heard that. I've only read Firefly Lane, so I want to read more by her. Man, I literally am like, I don't think I've read this year like new authors and then like multiple books from them to make them like whatever. I just feel like I've read a lot of like new releases from authors that have already like solidified a spot. I'm trying, oh my god, like I'm looking at some of these books and I'm about to say something and then I'm like, I read that last year. Like, this is crazy. But I don't know. Literally, I don't think I have an answer. Like, I'm not joking. Like,
do you have an author that anything. You've read at least just one of their books and you really liked their writing in that?
Oh my god. Have I even read any author this year?
You definitely have. You read... No, you didn't like that.
Yeah, I'm like, no, any author that I've tried out, I didn't really like their book.
Didn't you just read Nora Goes Off Script for the first time this year? Didn't you like those?
Oh yeah, that's what I originally had thought in my head, and then I lost those books. Yeah, Annabelle Monaghan is, I think it's how you pronounce her name. Somebody told me the G is silent. Annabelle Monaghan.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, somebody told me that. They may not
calling her Monaghan.
Yeah, that's what I was doing too. Don't worry, but I read both of her books that are out now, and I really liked them, and I really liked her writing, and I feel like she gets it. Like, I feel like she gets the pace that you need to keep you, like, attached and enthralled in the story and then end. Like, she just gets it.
She puts in, like, the perfect amount you need.
Yes.
In a little romance. All right, let's do you have a newest fictional crush? Like, a new fave book boyfriend?
I definitely do. I would literally say, wait, but do I? Who am I lying? Because, like, I read Just for the Summer, but I'm not, like, I don't, I have a fictional crush on him as a person because, like, he's just, like, the little things that he would make for, like, their dates and stuff, like, blew me away. I was like, if he wanted to, he would, personified. So, like, personality...
you love Justin.
Wait, what's his name? Is it Josh?
Justin.
Justin? I knew he started with the J. Justin from Just for the Summer. Justin, Just for the Summer. Gotta remember it that way.
He is a great guy.
Yeah, I would say that. Because I don't even think, like, Ford. I wasn't like, ooh. Like, you know what I mean? I just also loved him as a person.
Yeah, he's no Cade. He's no Theo.
No, he's no Cade, and he's no Gus. Because let me tell you, rereading... Beach Read Solidified. I was like, oh my god, I'm in love with Gus Everett. Like,
I can't wait. I'm rereading this month. Yeah.
I was reading it and I was like tucking my hair behind my ear. I was like, oh my god. Like, if this is me, I would think about this. Like, you know, like when you go home and you think about like the interactions that you had that day, like I would think about that all night.
Yes. Mine is Miles from Funny Story.
I knew you were gonna say this.
Bruh. Oh, I loved him. I think that he was
what? I had a realization that even though I didn't love Funny Story, Miles reminds me so much of Gus. And I realized it when I reread Beach Read, that I was like recalling things from Funny Story and I was like, wow, he is so like Gus coded. Why didn't I fall in love with him?
Yeah. I think it's because, well, not why you didn't love him. Why I loved him is because I think he was just so like nonchalant and just like chill, and like the little things that he would say, I don't know, it was something about him not being like the picture perfect like love at first sight boyfriend. It was like little by little he would just like do or say things and I was like, wait, I love you. He was great.
Yeah, I wish I felt that way about him. I was very indifferent about him, unfortunately.
That's okay.
I think with Emily Henry, like, Wynn and Gus are always going to have my... And Charlie Lastra. They're always going to have my heart. I love Charlie. Charlie Lastra has, like, Gus-level banter. So...
Yeah.
You have to love him. And I feel like Wynn is just so wholesome. Like, he's literally like a golden retriever personified. So...
No one talks about Alex. Is that his name?
Yeah, and it's funny because I literally reread... Well, no, I feel like there are, like, a majority of people who love People We Meet on Vacation. But to me, even when I reread it and I was like, yeah, this is, like, a 4-star, I think it's definitely my... Ooh, wait. I'm having a realization because I definitely prefer Funny Story over People We Meet on Vacation. But I rated People We Meet on Vacation a 4.
Maybe it's because you reread it and you, like... If you reread Funny Story, maybe it would be a different...
Yeah, this is crazy. This is a realization I'm having in real time. But even, like, I was like, oh, yeah, this is fun. But, like, I feel like they are, like, so two-dimensional to the point where it's, like, it doesn't, like, they don't even feel like fully fleshed out characters with, like, a backstory. And, like, they just didn't feel very real. So I never think about them.
I know.
I always Funny Story.
I did. I saw... So did... I think January also had a cameo. I missed it, but I saw it on TikTok.
Yeah.
She did that in Happy Place, too.
In your opinion, has your book taste changed at all?
Not... But, no. I think I'm still reaching for romances, fantasies... But I think I'm more open to other types of genres in books. I've read the graphic novels. I feel like I'm reading a little bit more of regular fiction-y type books, but I don't think it's changed a lot at all.
Yeah, I don't think mine has either, but I feel like I'm really, for the second half of the year, trying to, like, bring myself back to when I first got back into reading I would read any and everything. Like, it didn't matter the genre. It didn't matter what the book was about. Like, I would literally pick up anything. And then I feel like I fell so hard into book talk, and just the stuff that I was interacting with was bringing me into that. So then I feel like it shaped my book taste into a comfort zone instead of just like still reading any and everything. So I'm trying to get back to that.
Yeah. I feel like going to Barnes and just picking up any book you've never seen before for some reason is so hard to do, but I would love to start doing that too. It's because, like, if you haven't seen it online somewhere, it's like you're not going to Barnes for anything specific. That's like when I picked up the book I just finished that you also just bought, An Ember in the Ashes. We picked it up because the cover was cute, but little did we know people loved the book, and I had no idea.
Well, the name, once I got home, it was like ringing bells for me, because I could tell that they were new covers because I had heard the name An Ember in the Ashes before. Like, I had heard it.
Yeah, I had no idea.
And so, again, subconscious mind, we're falling into that. But, so yeah, I'm excited to read those books for the cover.
I finished the first one. It was good. Okay. Well, these ones kind of go a little bit together, so I'll just put them together, but either new release you haven't read yet but want to, or one that's coming out the second half of the year you're excited for. So I guess like any new release this year.
I think I've been pretty on top. I feel like we've both been pretty on top of, like, if there's a new release that comes out, we're like pretty much reading it right away. I think for the second half of the year, I'm very excited for, isn't the second book in the Rose Hill series coming out at the kind of end of the year?
Is it September maybe? I don't know. It's like in the fall time.
So we're around there. Lauren Asher's new book is coming out this month. A novel love story is coming out this month. The new Riley Sager is coming out this month. And I'm very excited for those. So many books come out this month, I feel like. Not in Love Summer's
comes out this month.
big time.
Yeah. We can all guess mine. Mine's Reckless. So
yeah,
literally, like, it's like I go to bed and I like can check off one day closer.
That's so exciting, though. See, I need to find something like that I'm like, ooh, I can't wait for, like, where you're like counting down the days, where you're like, ooh, I can't wait, like that. That's what Crescent City was for me. That's what Taming 7 was for me, and that's what Funny Story was.
Yeah, I was like,
so maybe I shouldn't find a book, eh?
No, we can. You can start counting down to the next Stacey Hates. You might be counting for a while.
Oh my god, I'm gonna be counting for what, 2 years? But I need to see Julian.
Know. That's gonna be a crazy countdown when we finally have the date, though.
Oh, I'm not ready for that book. What Taylor Swift song was I listening to the other day that I was like, this is so Julian?
There's so many. There could be so many.
It was like from Tortured Poets Department. Now I'm trying to like go through the catalog. Oh, LOML.
Oh, yeah. That is so his song. It's so sad.
And when I start crying right now in front of everybody over thinking of LOML and Julian Hates, what do you... Oh my god.
It's just like such like I don't like the unknowingness of what his character is going to go through in his next couple of books. It's like, where do you take him from there? You know?
Hopefully not the grave.
There's like
anyway.
no up from here. What?
I said hopefully not the grave.
Listen.
Hey.
I don't know.
Anyway.
There's too many options.
Can't trust an author not to kill off my favorite character. I'm going to be honest with you guys. What are, I don't know why I chose 3, but what are 3 books that you need to read by the end of the year? Like, these may even be books that you're like, I just need to have these like be read by the end of the year.
I don't know. It's a good question. I would say... Remember when I used to always say the rest of the Addicted series? Imagine I kept saying that.
Oh my god, I keep on forgetting that you literally have never even read, like, Long Way Down.
No, but I know everything that happens in that book. I think that's why I never read it. I, like, knew it. I don't know where it got spoiled. Probably TikTok. But, I mean, it's been a while. That's my fault. I don't know what I need to read. I feel like there's, like... I don't know. Do you have an answer? Maybe you can spark something.
I have my list of like 24 books that I want to read in 2024.
Yeah, I have that.
So I can go to that. Because that's like kind of where I take it, like books off of that I need to read. I would love, so 3 of them from my 24 books I would read in 2024 that aren't new releases, because it's like, if it's a new release, like I'm more than likely going to read it. I would say randomly 11/22/63 by Stephen King. I almost bought that the other day at Barnes, but then I didn't buy it because I was like, no, I want to buy it and read it. Like, I want to like make sure it gets read, but it's just like, I don't know. Something about that would be very satisfying to me. What did I say? Oh, Pride and Prejudice and The Bell Jar. Like, those are just the 3 random ones that I'm like, I want to have by the end.
Yeah, I think those are good ones. It's funny you say that book, 'cause I almost said Billy Summers was the first one. I don't know why that was the first book that came to my head. But on my list, I think I'm going to start The City of Bones, whatever that series is. Shadowhunters, I have no idea which one.
Oh, I also have that on my list. Like, I want to at least like get through 2 to 3 of those books.
I need to at least start that one. That one, and then I have Billy Summers. I guess I'll keep that one because it's on my list. And also, I want to read the Cinder series by Marissa Meyer. The one.
Ooh, I was just thinking about that the other day.
They're about, but that one's on my list. At least a few of them. I don't know how long. I think it's a longer series, but I want to read that.
Those books get like thick, like as the story goes on.
Yeah, but they seem fun.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else do I have? What is the biggest surprise book you've read you didn't expect? Could be bad or good, I feel like. Your expectations.
I would say I honestly, because I love the Daisy Hates books, like I am a Daisy Hates girl, I did not expect to like love Into the Dark like I did. Like, I really I gave it like a 4.5, 4.75. Like, it's very close to a 5-star for me. And for it being like a BJ and Magnolia book, that was like so surprising me. But I was even like texting Sarah as I was reading it, like, oh my god, like I couldn't put the book down. Like, once I was like, wow, this is so surprising.
I was so happy when you loved it. I think because you go through so much with them, so much that makes you want to punch them, that it's like getting to this point you never thought you'd see the day.
Well, I also feel like I live for like character study type series. So like the Addicted series and Magnolia Parks. I always say, if you've read Addicted and haven't read Magnolia Parks, like it's literally just like the British version of Addicted in like some ways, because like they all go through like very like big traumatic things, and they have like a close knit group of friends that they go with through it all. So if you like that, read that.
I would say either, I don't know, a surprise. I think I would say either Heartstopper or Carly Fortune's new book. I didn't absolutely love it, but I didn't expect to really enjoy reading it, I guess.
Oh, yeah, that one was one for me too, because she was about to be out of there. I enjoyed it though. Like, it was like, I read it in one sitting, but then I started thinking about it and I was like, oh my god, wait. It kind of like, I say this with her every time. I feel like every single time I read one of her books, it just feels like she kind of copied the formula from another successful popular book. And then I started thinking about it and I was like, ooh, this kind of felt like Happy Place. Like, she was trying to, like, how people love the setting of Happy Place. Like, it felt like she was trying to like do that in that book.
Yeah, I could see that a little bit. I can't give 3 answers, actually. I just start naming off every book. I was going to say A Little Life.
Oh, yeah. That was the time.
I forgot I read that this year. I still think about it, though. Like, every other day, like, something will happen. I'd be like, oh, my God. And, like, start spiraling. But that one, it's because you have expectations going into it because you hear so many things about it. Like, don't read it. So, like, you have expectations, and then it is nothing like you would.
Yeah. You can't prepare yourself for that book. I'm going to be honest with you.
No. Ugh. Oh, God, I can't even start thinking about it. Let's see. I think I want to, because I said I didn't want to buy books unless it's like new releases or for a video or like Kindle Unlimited. I want to implement that one again, but sticking to my physical TBR or using my library card. My library's been closed for 6 months for renovations, not 6, maybe like 4 months. And I keep forgetting like I could use. I also have the Libby app. Like, there's so many other. I think that's what I want to implement again. Not buy books unless I should.
I think that I mean, I'm going to stick to the classics. The memoirs is like nonfiction, like I would like to read 10 nonfiction. I think I do want to actually like implement the only like 5 books for like personal enjoyment, like not for like going out buying them for a video, but like, oh, I'm just going to Barnes for no reason, like picking up a book, or like going to Target, no, picking up a book. Like I do want to stick to the 5. Because I would like to see a day where the physical TBR is not overwhelmingly large, which I also think I'm going to do more of like a declutter here soon, just because like I need to like be real with myself, because like even the other day I was looking at my physical TBR, I was like, yeah, I don't really even foresee myself like ever reaching for that book. I'm like, so why is it still there?
Yeah,
let somebody else enjoy it.
I just cleaned out mine over here because I didn't have a lot of room, and I moved some out that I like don't think I'll see myself getting to, or I've read and like never even look at, to put some room in for other books. This one's been a goal for like a really long time, but I want to try to finish more series that I'm in the middle of. And also that one, just because I love to start series and then neglect the rest of them. But I want to, when I'm going to reread Beach Read, there's a few other ones I want to reread this year, and I really want to, again, not feel guilty for rereading books when I have so much on my TBR. Because there's so many books I love so much that I want to read again, but I always just feel like it's the wrong time.
But I feel like we need to remember that, like, reading is so personal, and, like, at the end of the day, it's like important to read like what you want to read and not like read what you think you should be reading, because I feel that way a lot too. Like I'll be like, ooh, but I like had in my brain to film this video this week. I'm like, okay, well then just find a way to make like a different video and put that video off. Like that video idea is still there, you have the stuff for that video. Like it's more important to read what you enjoy, because at the end of the day you're still a person who enjoys reading, and you always want it to be that way.
Gone off the rails with our reading goals. I think we've had a good first half.
Yeah. I think I'm excited for the second half of the year. I feel like there's a lot of promising like books, and then even just like trying to explore different reads and stuff. I feel like it could be good for the second half.
Yeah, I'm excited to see when we check back in December. Let us know your book goals. Maybe you'll help us stick to our book goals. Let us know all of your, if you answer these questions, your favorite read of the year so far. Maybe we can get some recommendations. Give Destiny some 5 stars.
Yeah, guys, help me out here. But we want to know down below. You guys feel free to answer all the questions that we asked in today's podcast, because we want to know how your reading year has been. And don't forget, follow us on all the socials, always linked down below. And we hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you again next Thursday.
Heck yeah, we got some fun ones coming.
Yep, be excited.
Yep. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.